Hi everybody, this is Diane. I am hopefully going to make some ephemera today. I went through my supplies with you in the previous video, my sewing journal supplies, and I showed you the patterns that I would be using to make covers. I don't know if I'll make this many because I have like 8 patterns here. So I have these McCall's patterns that are all similar with the scenery in the background, which I thought was unique. And I had 5 of them, and then as we went through my pattern collection, I found another one. So now there are 6. So I don't know if I want to do all of these, and because I decided to add a couple with the little girl patterns. I have such wonderful little girl patterns. So that's 8 journals here if I make them. So what I want to do is look through the things that I have here, not just look through them, but actually start creating. I don't have a project in mind, except I want to make some tags and maybe some pockets, and I don't know, maybe some ephemera. We'll just see. So I cut some file folders to be the covers for these journals, and it turns out I am almost out of file folders, just plain file folders. I have some that are like pocketed, they have a gusset on the side, and some that you open them up and they have a pocket, they have pockets in them. And I could cut them up, any of them, but I needed some that were just like this, a file folder, to make the covers out of. So I don't know, I may have to break down and buy some file folders from Walmart. We'll see. I'll go to the thrift store again and see if they have any. So anyway, I have my covers cut, and the point was that I have all these leftover pieces from these folders. Also, when I cleaned up my craft room, when I was a lot more thorough this time, I came across in a box with scraps like these to stamp on and make things with. I had some pieces that were, well, these are made pretty much, but some that were just collaged. And then I did another collage on some paper of scraps that were on my desk from the last project. So I actually glued things down, added little accents, and then cut them out last night. So I have those pieces. These are already decorated, but this one is a pattern lady, but it would be too tall for these journals. These are pattern ladies, so I might be able to use them in my journals. It depends on the colors that I need. And there's a pattern background and a little girl. But then this is made with pieces of pattern instructions and pattern envelope and the tissue. So I do have some things made, but I have a lot of elements to make things with. If you watched my supplies video, you saw that I found several bags that had these ladies and children that were cut out of patterns, vintage patterns. So I want to start using some of those. And I have these digital pieces. Might be able to use some of these words, these flashcards. And just all kinds of digital ephemera. I'll set these where I can see them to pull from them if I want them. I have some pattern tissue. I pulled a couple pages of paper. I didn't dig very far in my paper because I'm not sure what colors I want to use. And we looked at these in the previous video, so I just want to set aside the ready-made ephemera. I don't think I need to make any more because I have quite a bit made, which is nice, but I do want to make some more. So I'll just take out the ready-made pieces, and then I have all of this digital stuff. Some of it is just cards, but some I could use to embellish. I have all of these pattern instruction sheets from previous projects, probably from the envelopes that I cut up. So I can save images and things from this and use them. And oh, I have some more collaged scraps that I haven't cut up yet, so I could use those to collage onto. And oh my goodness, I've got so much to deal with here. This bag, this was also in my basket of stuff like these. Things to do things with. That's what I should label that basket. So more. So you know that I've been picking up my scraps at the end of a project and then just gluing them down to cardstock or paper and cutting them. So that's what all these things are. I need to actually start making stuff with them. So this is just random stuff in here that's not necessarily sewing pattern themed, but I could definitely, these are backs of parchment greeting cards, those old greeting cards. So more pieces that were collaged together that I could create onto as a substrate. So I've got lots of different colors here, which is good because each pattern may be a different color. These are digital pieces from Tailor-Made Journals, wallpapers, and her French embroidery papers. These are things I probably won't use in this project. And I just want to use things that are just sitting here waiting to be used, you know? Let's use them. So these are all the collage bits, and I will look through those when I'm ready to start making something for these journals. Coffee dyed papers here. These are just little tidbits that I threw in that bag, so I'm going to set them aside right here off to the side so I'll have them handy. Because like I said, I don't want these journals to be so specifically sewing themed. I want to make them eclectic. So I'll have all kinds of stuff in them. All right, so without any further ado, oh, and I also have this bag of little tidbits that I had cut from, I think, Tim Holtz and maybe some Elizabeth Craft Design. I don't know if I'll use these, but they're right here, just because they were with all this other stuff. All right, now I got to make room. Move these. And I want to have access to my covers so I can make sure I use things with the right colors. So let's start making a tag. We'll start with one of the ladies' journals. So they're kind of muted colors, I think, these patterns. There's taupe and grayish blue. There's a gray and a red. Yeah, that one's a pretty color. There are some colors. All right, so I'm just going to start making. I'm not going to worry about colors right now. That one's torn. I think she'd be a little bit tall for that journal because that's the cover. The journals will be, the pages will be smaller. I like this one. And maybe this one. Now these are from the 40s. This could be from the 40s. This one is the 60s, but I don't care. I'm just going to put some in. I have big ones and little ones. I might need some of each. The little girls can, and maybe the boys too, can go in the patterns with the little girls. I'm just going to select some that look like they belong on a tag or a pocket or something. It's a nice big piece. Now we're getting into the 70s here. Oh, I love that one. She's in her dressing gown applying some lipstick. I'm not going to go through all these. I'm just selecting a few to have handy. Okay, this is a start. I'll get a couple more little girls here. All right, so I have those, and let's start with this red lady. See if I have something in here that she would complement. That might be a little small for her. We'll see. That's possible. Ooh, I like this one. I think she's going to go on that. I made the covers 8.5 inches tall, but I may cut them shorter. I wanted to make sure that they weren't going to be too small, so I cut them to a good size, but to the size that I might also be able to make them smaller if necessary. So 8.5 inches. So this tag is, it's going to have to be 7 inches to fit her on there. And I don't think I'm going to want to do much else to this tag. I want the pretty flowers to show. So I don't think I'll add anything else. I'll just angle the corners. So this is one of the wallpapers from Tailor Made Journals Etsy store. She has a lot of wallpaper sets. I do not know what set that came from. And I had glued it to one of her French roast coffee dyed papers. That's a digital in her set, which I love. She's a little bit crumpled up, but I don't mind that. I think instead of putting a hole in there, it'll be too close to her head. I'll put a fabric or a lace tab on that. And sew around the tag, just for a little interest. And I think I don't need anything else to that. Well, that was fun. Let's do something else. Can try this lady. This one has the French roast coffee, but nothing on that side. Is she too tall? I don't know, that's got a lot going on. I have all of those plain folder pieces. Now these were just what I cut off, so these might not be wide enough. I think this one is. This is about 3 inches. What did I say height-wise? 6.5? No. Seven. And 7 isn't going to quite do it for her. She might be too big for these journals. Going to make it 7.5. If I can't use her in these journals, I'll save her for another one. So I think I will cover this with, let me just pick a possible journal for her to go in. So maybe something red. That's pretty striking. This is a little bit thick. It's not as thick as some of the cardstock papers, but it's thicker than the papery ones. Does that make sense? Well, I was going to put her up against the edge because of her elbow being cut, but I'd have to cut her foot off to do that. So I'll just have to put an element there. Okay, I'm going to see what kind of elements I have to add to this. Leftover digital. Okay, this is all glued down. We have 2 tags. I think we'll use some pattern paper, instruction sheet for this. And I think we'll just make this into a journaling card. Three and a half inches. By 7. Better make some smaller pieces too. Gonna try to see the line that I want through the paper. Okay, that's approximately where I want it. I have these coat checks and these tickets and another kind of ticket in my shop. If you're interested. See if I can find any of the little buttons that are in here. Just line up some little green buttons there. It feels rather thin. I'm going to glue this to another layer of this. I should have used cardstock. I'll glue it to cardstock. Okay, that's 3 pieces, and I will finish them off by sewing around them. Let's make one with a little girl. Ooh, her arm is about to come off. I better glue her down to something. I didn't cut her arm out all the way, because if I did, it would have lost that part. But now I have to. I don't really like that purple. There. You can hardly see the tear in her arm. These are reinforcements that I stamped on, and I have 2 of these red ones left. There, she's cute. I really like this little girl too. I'm gonna go grab some of my dry cleaning tickets and stuff. Okay, let's see. Maybe yellow. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna grab my crinkled seam binding. Where is it? Here it is. Well, I don't have red. Oh, yes I do. Well, I'm going to try tying it a different way. I'll have to take this back out before I sew around it. I just thought about. Let's look at what we did, because I think we're done for right now. Got 5 made. I have this one. And I will add lace or fabric to the top and sew around, and so you'll see them the next time. That's a good start. Thanks for coming along with me today, and I hope you'll come back for the next part. And I hope you're having a creative day. Bye.